Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Basically Wizards. This is part 2 of our Super Mario Super Tier List and Reviews episode. So, we're going to go ahead and jump in right where we left off with discussing Super Mario Sunshine.
Alright, this next one's going to be mostly all you, because I have played like one level of this one. Unfortunately.
I've got a lot to say about this game. So
okay,
I'll keep it as brief as I can, but I do have a good amount to say.
Alright, go for it.
So good old Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. So again, we got a brand new Nintendo console, and the first thing that I got to point out right from the get-go is just how good this game looks compared to Mario 64.
That's true.
Mario 64, it's got a unique charm to the way it looks, almost kind of like a weird, it doesn't look unruly like a lot of kind of older CGI and stuff does. What are those called? Like those YouTube videos where they purposely try to make like the crappy looking CGI and.
I don't know if they have a specific name, but
but
I know what
you
you're
get the
talking
idea.
about.
Like you would picture that like one of the older games would look like that, but like Mario 64. It still looks good for what they were working with, I think.
It's got a cohesive style, for sure.
Right, but it's night and day to compare Mario 64 to Mario Sunshine. Like, this game looks pretty solid. Like, I don't think that you would guess it was made in 2002, just, like, looking at it from first glance.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good-looking game.
Yeah, and then the movement in this game is really, really fun. Like Mario 64, it kind of runs into the same error where it's not great for precision platforming, but as far as just like moving around, it is insanely fun, especially because you have this new mechanic, the flood, which is a really weird idea. I don't know who thought of it, but it's basically a big hose on your back that you can just spray water out of anywhere and even use it as a water jetpack. And then you can even spray water on the ground directly in front of you, belly dive onto it, and then just continue sliding on your belly pretty much indefinitely. And there's a lot of creativity in this game, too. Again, instead of going to the Mushroom Kingdom, you are now going to Isle Delfino on vacation. The game's theming is very, very strong, where every level is designed to feel like this tropical resort. There's an amusement park level, there's a hotel level, there's a beach level, there's like this weird like tribal village level, there's like this big cave by the water full of like ancient ruins and stuff. And so the idea with Mario 64, like I said, is you have 120 stars, you have to get 70 of them to complete the game. And this one, they do the same deal. You have these big open levels, and there's 120 total stars that you can find and try and collect. But then, for no reason whatsoever, it's you only beat the game after collecting 7 specific stars from like 7 of the specific worlds. And there's shine sprites in this one, and all of the others don't do anything. Which I think is just the weirdest idea in the world.
Yeah. I can share my little input. I own Mario 3D All-Stars, which is the collection that has Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, and 64. I have played through Mario Galaxy a few times on there. Not to jump the gun, but for obvious reasons, it's my favorite game of all time. And I've booted up Mario 64 several times, as I mentioned earlier. I tried Mario Sunshine once. I got stuck on a platforming challenge, and I turned it off, and I never played it again. So, something about it did not click with me in those initial moments. I will definitely, again, I'm sure I will get back to playing it eventually, but despite the fact that Mario is basically my favorite series of games, of all time, and I just have so little desire to play one of the major entries, kind of comes off as a big mark against this one, for sure.
I have such a weird love-hate relationship with this game, because the thing I found with Mario Sunshine is there are people on both sides of the spectrum. There are people that say that, this is the best Mario game, this is the top of the top. I've heard that before, but there are also people that hate it, would throw it in F tier. But me, I feel like I can see both sides a little bit. Like, this game is tremendously frustrating, like, even more so than Super Mario 64 in every aspect. I mean, not only are you forced to get these specific stars, but sometimes the challenges are just dumb. Like, they're not even fun. It's like, there's this one level where you have to, like, guide this janky watermelon from, like, one side of the stage all the way to the other, and I don't know if that's a required level or not, but and then there's like this sandbird one where you have to like stay balanced on this giant bird that keeps trying to fling you off the whole time. And then there's like these squid races where you're accelerating at like 100 miles an hour for some reason and you keep bumping into everything, and then randomly you'll bump into a wall and just die for no reason. And then sometimes you'll clip through the stage for no reason. And there's like the janky pinball level, and it's like there's this game is just frustration. Like that this game is just the personification of frustration. Like if you want to be mad, go play Super Mario Sunshine. But
yeah.
I
think it's so crazy. I do think it's so crazy how like they know that the movement isn't built for precision platforming, so
right.
They give you a tool to kind of mitigate that with the hover pack, which makes it a little easier. But then they throw you into these challenge stages where they take away your pack, and it's just like, these are the hardest platforming stages. These are where you really need the little assistance, and it just takes it away. It's like, oh, yeah. It's just kind of wild to me, but yeah.
It is weird stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So the frustration, again, this will be a testament against it, is I also have a hard time wanting to replay it. Like, I've played it, like, twice, but, like, sometimes I'll have a Mario-a-thon where I'll go through and play all of the Mario games back to back. But, like, every time I get to this one, I'm like, maybe I'll just skip it this time. So that's not a good thing. But at the same time, the creativity of this game cannot be understated. It has some of just the quirkiest and funniest locations that I've ever seen in a Mario game. Serena Beach, for example, is just so fun. You're in this, like, haunted resort hotel on the beach, and you're, like, going around to all of the different floors, and it's, like, on this one puzzle where you have to, like, jump through a urinal, and then you, like, pop out of somebody's tub, then you, like, bounce on the bed into another room, and then, like, spin the cupboards open, and there's, like, this one level where you're, like, deep underwater, like, cleaning off this eel's teeth, and, like, the amusement park level is so fun. Like, and just the movement in general, when you're not doing precision platforming, when you're just exploring these big areas, it is a blast. So it's, I don't know, I can see how people like it, and I can see how people hate it, and I personally am just very torn on it. It's the sort of game that maybe if I really want to play again, maybe I'll just watch a YouTube video of somebody who's really good at playing it or something,
Yeah, that's fair. But, all right. So where are we putting this? This is gonna be this is gonna be a tough one for sure.
I'm thinking just C tier.
You're gonna put it in C. All right.
I think so. Just because
I'm defaulting to you on this one since you've beaten it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, just because it's the game I feel probably most torn on out of any Mario game in the series.
Might as well just put it right in the middle.
Put it right in the middle. Put it on C.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay. Next is so this is one of there's two that I haven't played at all. All the rest of them I've played at least some of, and I've beaten a lot of them. It's New Super Mario Bros. DS. So the beginning of the new Super Mario Bros. Trend, I guess. I don't know if trend's the right word. Series, like sub-series. But the newest incarnation of the 2D Mario up until very recently, which I think we'll talk about a little bit at the very end.
Yeah, and it had been quite a long time since there'd been a 2D Mario game by the time this came out. I'd have to look it up for sure, but I think it had been like 10 years since Super Mario World at this point. So, it was kind of fun and fresh, and especially a creative way for Nintendo to implement Mario onto their handheld device, the DS. And the game is pretty fun. it's a good time. It's a Raleigh romp, but it feels just kind of lifeless somehow. Like it feels like they didn't really bring anything new to the table with this one, despite it being called New Super Mario Brothers. It just kind of, seems like they give it some nice 3D visuals, some pretty just fun stages, but there's not really a lot of new mechanics. Like a lot of the stuff is just stuff you've already seen in Mario games before. The levels are super duper linear. Like you just move to the right and there's never really any variance and there's never really any challenge either. The levels are pretty easy for the most part. And I don't know, it feels kind of lifeless to me a little bit.
Yeah, and that's been the major complaint with most of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. So it is
Right.
interesting to hear that that does seem to be the case all the way from the get-go.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that people kind of got tired of it after a while, which was definitely part of the problem, but also just the idea in and of itself never fully was there from what I understand.
Right. Yeah, so I think this one I would give probably a D tier.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, just
that's
because
fair.
Mario Sunshine is a C tier and this game is worse than Sunshine, so
Yeah, all
put it
right,
in,
let's
put
put
it
it
in
in
D
D.
tier. So
D for DS.
D for DS.
All right.
Let's see.
Now on to the one that we've all been waiting for.
Oh yes.
Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, I'm already content to say S tier. It's my
Yep.
favorite game of all time, not just my favorite Mario game, but my favorite game of all time. It would take a lot of time to discuss the various reasons why. I'll give a few now, though. Number one, the level design is absolutely impeccable. There's just so many fully polished mechanics that all blend into each other. They all add onto each other and combine together to just create really, really just levels that just feel good to play. Like it just there's never a moment where you just get frustrated or something is not working. It's as easy as breathing. You just go and it's just great and it's just fun. Like it's just pure fun
Yep.
and there's it's hard to even put into words how natural they make it look. Like creating levels as good as these. The real reason why I feel like it sticks with me as much is just the beautiful atmosphere. The music does a lot for that. It is an amazing orchestral soundtrack combined with these just really. I feel like this was one of the first games I can remember that had just like a really beautiful orchestral soundtrack. But the thing a lot of big budget games today miss that this one has is the blending of the orchestra and these like more synthy sounds, like in a
Right.
beautiful harmony. Like they just think, oh, we got to do this prestigious orchestra. But what makes this soundtrack special is just the perfect blend of both the orchestra and the bubbly, spacey synths that just set the mood perfectly. And then to add on to that, they have added a new character, Rosalina, who has a backstory that sticks with me a lot, and I think about it a lot, and it really just easily the most emotionally powerful thing ever put into a Mario game. And the conclusion is absolutely insane. Like, I didn't realize how insane it was until I played it again now, as an adult, and was like, wow, this is this is just crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of it kind of goes over your head as a kid, and you just think it's cool, but like, man, there is some deep stuff happening, like themes going on here in this video game about the cycle of death and rebirth and stories, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'm hyping it up too much. If someone who didn't know what it was played it for the first time, if they'd get what I get from it, but Yeah, no, there's no other piece of art, there's no other video game, there's nothing that sticks with me as much as this one does. And like, it's probably the first video game I can remember playing. Like, maybe I played something else before this as a kid, but it's the first one that I can like have a memory of playing this in the basement with my brothers. And yeah, there is something very, very special about this game.
Nice. Man, doing Super Mario Galaxy proper justice is something I don't know if I can really do.
I know, yeah.
See, to me, being told to describe why Mario Galaxy is good is like being told to describe why salt is salty, if that makes sense. Like, to me, just like good video game and Super Mario Galaxy are just kind of synonymous in my mind.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's Mario games in general, especially when you get a really good 3D one with tons of well executed ideas and tons of unique level designs and gimmicks and ideas. They're just pure fun in of themselves. But then when you combine that with a moving storyline and a constantly impressive atmosphere and this big orchestra and space, which who doesn't love space, and then the cool gravity mechanic where you're jumping from one planet to the other, it's just peak life right there, man. Like,
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy, like, I just don't know how you get much better than that. Like, even rip away the story from the game, it's still just fantastic as is.
I don't even if they took away like all story elements, well, which I mean we'll kind of get to that.
Yeah.
But it would still probably be my favorite Mario game. Like, that's just how that's how it became my favorite video game of all time.
Right.
But yeah, even take away some of the more heady elements, it would still be my favorite Mario game by a mile.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and I love too how it really just encapsulates kind of the fear and dread of space, but in a really just melancholy sort of way. Like, it's not like creepy space in the same way Metroid is, where you're just always like, ooh, creepy aliens around the corridors, but it encapsulates that kind of dread and vastness and awe of space, but in a way that's epic and awe-inspiring and just,
it's approachable. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so many different. There's so much different pacing and moods in this game too. You have levels that are epic and awesome, and the orchestra is blaring, and you just got that adrenaline flowing. And then you have levels that are kind of laid back and relaxed and fun, like when you're at the beach. And then you have like levels that are like actually quite spooky. Like, I remember fighting the freaking Bouldergist for the first time.
Yeah.
That guy spooks. And then you have levels that are kind of like just weird and spooky, like that weird like giant fish mouth galaxy level where you go in the cave and the penguin's just like, this is where I come when I seek isolation, and you're just like, you're like, what is this place? And then the music, sometimes the music, you'll hear it playing and you're like, this isn't a Mario game, what is this song? But it works so well. The whole thing just it doesn't seem like something that should work, but it's just also cohesive. And
you would think it would just be bizarre to put that sort of stuff on Mario, but it never feels that way. It all feels very natural. It all, like it feels right. Like, it always just feels right. Yeah.
Nice. So, Super Mario Galaxy is S tier, undeniably.
S tier. Yep, that's an easy one.
Yep.
And we'll move on to that too. I was hoping that we'd get to just launch right into Mario Galaxy 2, but we've got a little bit of a break in between that. We've got New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
What a step down.
A big step down, but I do like this game, and I do have some fondness for it, just because this was one that was like a big game with like me and my cousins. This was like the go-to game that we would always play.
Right.
It is way more fun as like a multiplayer experience, which makes it way worse as a single player experience, which is kind of the problem with it.
Yeah.
It's also pretty like boring in presentation, and I don't know. Yeah, there's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of quantify what to think of it, because there's like as a game, it's fine.
Yeah.
As an experience that I had with like all my cousins and something that just like everyone had this game, like everyone had a Wii and everyone had this game,
Yep.
and that was kind of cool. Like it was just fun to just play this with other people. So I do have some fondness in my heart for this game.
Yeah. And I would say that it's definitely the best of the bunch as far as the new Super Mario Bros. Games
Yeah, I
go.
think I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, it really is hard to pinpoint what it is that's wrong with this one besides just being like, go play it and then go play Super Mario Galaxy and then come back and tell me which one is a better Mario game, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's night and day. Like the fact that we're talking about these two games in the same podcast like doesn't even make sense logically. Like
They're just
they're
in different
incomparable, different universes.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
Saul
that's true.
Goodman says. He's like, "I'm leagues above you. I'm like a god," or whatever he's screaming at Howard. That's
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, not really a lot to say about it
Not a
even.
lot to
I don't
say.
know. Yeah, it's boilerplate, like very typical Mario. Like
Yeah.
like Mario World is like, I feel like it's 2D Mario condensed at its peak, kind of
Yeah.
as you said. But Super Mario Bros. Wii is like Mario in its abstractness, like in its most general, abstract, washed out form, which is still good in its own way. It's still fun because it's Mario, but like that's all it is. Like there's literally not even like anything to say about it.
Yeah, it's like if you go to get a pizza, like this is just like a microwave pizza, you know.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if,
still
if Super
pizza.
Mario, yeah, it's still pizza, so it's still good. But this is just like a freezer pizza, so it's like, yeah, okay, tastes like pizza. I don't know what it's made out of, but it
Yeah.
tastes like pizza. So
Yeah. So what are we thinking? Like, it might be like C. You think? I don't know. Like,
yeah, we can give it a C.
I think C's fair.
Yeah.
Probably like C below Sunshine, because at least
Yeah.
Sunshine is interesting.
Yeah, at least Sunshine's unique. But,
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. All right. Well, let's
yeah,
move right
C
along.
minus.
Yeah. 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 Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we can just blow past that right back to what we actually wanted to talk about.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Wii. If this doesn't tell you that Super Mario Galaxy is good, I don't know what will. They made a sequel for this boy.
They made a sequel, and it's really, really good.
It is very good.
It's only lacking some of the story and atmosphere elements that I really love about the original game. But other than that, it's basically just as good, like if not better, in pretty much every other area. So
Right. I feel like there's not a lot to say about this one that I haven't already said about Super Mario Galaxy. But yeah, it's the same idea. You're in space, you're jumping between planets, there's levels that are fast, there's levels that are relaxed, levels that are exciting, and it's constant, unsaturated fun. Like
Yep.
And there's just so many ideas constantly, so many cool places, and yeah, this game makes you feel things, which is important for art to do. Like
yeah,
and there are parts even that do kind of echo back to the kind of more melancholy atmosphere of Super Mario Galaxy 1. For example, there's this one super bizarre level called Slimy Springs Galaxy that I always think is in the first game because it seems like it should be, where you're like
yeah,
through this cave that's like oddly eerily and depressing and has like one of the weirdest songs I've ever heard in a game.
yeah.
then,
And
like,
like,
you-
a lot of songs are reused like for different levels, but this one is just for this one level.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then, like, you exit the cave, and then the game is just completely silent. There's no music. You just hear, like, birds chirping, and there's, like, a small sunrise. And I've, like, even seen a video essay about how, like, this level's supposed to represent, like, overcoming depression or something, which is a little far-fetched, but, like, hey, you know what? Art, you make of it what you make of it, so...
Yeah. Hey, it feels like it. I remember
Yeah.
when I played it again, I was like, hey, I get it.
Yeah.
I see it now. No, I mean, yeah, it's just a wonderful game, and I do like that it has kind of its own identity divorced
Yeah.
from the original game. Like, it's got a really unique vibe that's even, it's not it isn't just more of the same. I mean, in a lot of ways it is, but it does have its own unique vibe that I really love, and I love the different, just one specific thing. I love the different like backgrounds for the different worlds that you go through, and how like you'll see that background on the world map, but you'll also see that
Right.
background like when you're just in the hub area on your ship, and
Yeah.
it's really beautiful just to kind of look out into these like mesmerizing colorful spacey expanses, and they each have their own theme, and it's anyways just love these games, and
Me
you gotta
too.
play them. Just play them.
Just play 'em, yeah. And even though the story is somewhat lackluster in this one compared to part one, it's still got like echoes throughout of the stuff that part one covers, especially because I feel like a lot of part one's is reflected in the atmosphere itself. So I
Yeah,
feel like a
yeah,
lot of what part one's story accomplished can still be felt interweaved throughout just the overall vibe of Mario Galaxy 2, if nothing else. And then
yeah.
I feel like
And
the
it
final
still
Bowser fight's
creates.
still pretty epic too, so that's
Yeah,
always a
yeah,
plus.
definitely still creates like super grand moments and super melancholy, self-reflective moments. One of my favorite worlds is the Cosmic Cove Galaxy, and that one is just
That
this
one is good. Yeah.
just this. I mean, if nothing else, listen to the soundtrack of every
Yes.
galaxy we bring up, uh, and you'll kind of start to get it. Like,
Yep.
yeah, it's just Cosmic Cove Galaxy is so beautiful. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, can't say much more than already we said about the original. Just another S tier, a little
Oh yeah.
below the original for me, but
Yep.
that's not really saying that much since that's my favorite
Right.
game of all time. So
Yep. Yep. Definitely S tier. All right. So now we have Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. So this game is kind of a weird idea, but it's well executed, I think. So the 3D Mario games had always kind of had this sense of divorce from the 2D Mario games in a lot of ways. Because, like,
yeah,
the 2D Mario games, you had, like, your things like blocks and, like, the power ups had, like, this progressive state where, like, you turn into the big guy and then you get a power, and then if you get hit, you shrink, and then so on and so forth. And then, like, the idea of just beating levels that are more linear instead of like collecting these stars and these big jungle gems, just having a linear route that you follow to get to the end of a level and then, jump on the flagpole and move on to the next level. So Super Mario 3D Land decided to take that more traditional style of Mario gameplay from the 2D Mario games and just make it into 3D. So instead of just moving to the right, you're moving all around to get to the end of the level, but it's in 3D. And it's, still linear, but I don't know, it's just really cool. It's very well executed. You've got some pretty fun and charming locations. Like there's this one level where you're inside of a giant clock, and I think that's pretty fun. There's like this level where you explore this giant pyramid that's really cool. The haunted house levels are pretty fun as always, and then yeah, the whole thing works pretty well. It's very brief. I usually can beat this game in like 4 hours total, maybe. It's kind of a
yeah,
shorter Mario game, but it's fun. It's just pretty constant fun throughout. It's just always introducing new ideas and stuff, and I've heard some people say that it's supposed to be like the handheld version of Super Mario Galaxy. I feel like that's very overgenerous, but it at least takes Mario Galaxy's idea of constantly introducing new mechanics and ideas and locations and just expounding upon them and making you have as much fun as you can. So,
yeah.
yeah.
One thing I'm starting to realize now that we're pretty deep into this list is I should probably play more Mario games because there are way more than I thought that I just have not played, and this is one of them. So,
Nice.
yeah, can't say too much more than Cage, but We will talk a little bit about where this one goes when we get to Mario 3D World, which I have played that one.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm starting to realize I should play more Mario games that I haven't played yet.
This is a good one. This is a very good one. I would, as far as ranking goes, that is tough. I'm debating between A or B. Because it is a really, really good game, but I'm like, is it as good as, like, Super Mario World, though? It's not, like, very, like, revolutionary either, per se.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very ambitious, for sure,
Yeah.
but, I mean...
But it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, can't put a price on just being fun to play, so...
Yeah.
I leave it up to you.
I'm gonna say an A. Maybe we'll call it an A- / B+, like, somewhere in there.
Yeah, like bottom of A. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and give it an A. All right.
Yeah.
And now we have New Super Mario Brothers 2 for the 3DS.
We're almost out of the woods with these ones, guys. We're so close with the new Super Mario Bros. Ones. Again, another one I haven't played, so you've gotta take the lead on this one.
Okay, New Super Mario Brothers 2. They at least tried to introduce a new mechanic.
Yeah, like there was a gimmick to it. There was a theme.
The idea was that this game was all about the coins. You want to get as many coins as possible. But the problem is, what is the point of getting all these coins if there's no, like, incentive or reward for it? Like, it'd be cool if maybe what could have made this game phenomenal is if they made it into kind of like a Banjo and Kazooie collectathon sort of style, except 2D. Like, maybe it's the levels are just brimming with coins, but in order to get the checkpoint flag, you have to have, like, a certain amount in each level. Or even if it's just like, to beat the world, it's like, to get to this castle, you have to have a certain amount of coins. Like, I feel like there's a lot of cool ways they could have utilized the coin mechanic, because it is fun just getting hundreds and thousands of these coins. But it doesn't do anything besides give you 1-ups whenever you get 100 coins, like any other Mario game. And combined with the fact that this game is ridiculously easy, and I'm talking easier than any other new Super Mario Brothers game in the whole franchise, it just, I don't know, it just kind of disappears after a while. Like, you kind of stop caring about getting all these coins.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, I don't know, this one feels like the most shallow experience out of any of the new Super Mario Brothers games.
Interesting. I was going to say that about the next one, but I haven't played this one, so maybe you're right.
Like, the coin mechanic feels like the only thing it had going for it, but as far as level layout goes and stuff, it's super duper bland and super duper plain, and I don't know, like, I feel like even New Super Mario Bros. Wii at least had a lot more going for it in terms of level design, same with New Super Mario Bros. U, but this one just feels so empty, I guess. But I don't know, this is kind of an F-tier Mario game in my eyes. So.
I think maybe we should make it our E, because we have not done an E yet.
That's true.
You think this would be fitting for our E tier?
Yeah, I didn't know we were doing an E tier, but that seems fair. We can slap it in E tier.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Alrighty.
So. Yeah, let's move it on forward. Next, I have a special relationship with this one, and not a good one, not in a positive way. This is New Super Mario Bros. U. Finally, we're at the end of the new Super games. So when I first got my Wii U, this was what came with it. This was like, we got the bundle where it came with this game. And this is the only game I had for months and months and months, because we weren't able to buy games. We had to wait for like a holiday, like our birthday or Christmas or something. So I was stuck with this game. And I beat it. I played it all the way through, and I did not enjoy a single second of it. I remember just playing it because I was like, well, I've got my Wii U now. I have to play it, and I just joylessly played through this game. I don't like this one very much. I didn't like it then. I have never had a desire to replay it. And it's kind of incredible that it got a Switch port.
Yeah.
They sold this for $60 twice, which is awful. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played a lot of this game at the time. I just didn't have anything else to play until I bought the Lego Movie video game, which was also terrible. So I was stuck with two awful games for like forever until we finally started to get some good ones. But yeah, so don't make the same mistake I did. When you're shopping with your grandma for a new game, and Mario Kart 8 is an option, get that. And don't get the Lego Movie, the video game. So that's unrelated, but I had to just add that in there.
Yeah. See, my thoughts on New Super Mario Bros. U, it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times with New Super Mario Bros. 2, I hate you now. Fool me 4 times, like, what do you even do at that point? Like, what do I even say to this? Like, at this point, they're just slapping me in the face when they give us a New Super Mario Brothers U. Like,
yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah, I have no respect.
There's
for
literally
this game.
one thing, like one unique thing about it, and then it's an acorn power up where you wear a flying squirrel suit. That's it, and that's not even that fun. Like, it's a fine enough power up, I guess, but when that's the only new idea you've got, you know you're at the end of the road, which I'm glad they realized, because we're not getting any more of these things. I certainly hope not.
Yep, so. Yeah, again, it's... I was about to say it's a fine game, but I don't know if I can even bring myself to say that. I don't know. It might just
something about
be a
this
bad
one
game.
really sits bad with me. So my personal gripe with it, I would be willing to put it in F, but I will leave it up to you. You got to decide whether it's better or worse than New Super Mario Bros. 2.
I think it's probably about the same as New Super Mario Bros. 2, honestly. So it's not better or worse. It's just
slap it in E, or
yeah, we
or
can
do you
slap
think
it in E tier.
Okay, those two are both in E. Which one do you think would be better, though, if you had to choose?
I think New Super Mario Bros. U is better.
Okay,
it's better because it's at least got the multiplayer mechanic going for it.
Yeah,
nothing
that's
else,
true.
But
that's fair. Yeah.
The thing you have to understand about the game too is that it's made for little kids. Like if you've got like a 5-year-old, they'll probably have a jolly romp with it. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's better to just make Mario games that are fun for all ages, like they've always done until New Super Mario Bros. For some reason. So
yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thank goodness we're out of there. We can move on to another really good one, Super Mario 3D World. Kind of a strange choice they made. Like, we get Mario Galaxy 2, and we're wondering when the next, full 3D Mario game will come out. We get 3D Land, which people like, but, it's for the handheld. And instead of, a follow-up to Galaxy 2 or a follow-up, just kind of its own thing, they decided to follow up the weird, handheld one, which was kind of an odd choice, but turns out it was a pretty good choice because Super Mario 3D World is a really, really good game. It's just great. Some people kind of have a harder time with this one, especially comparing it to how... Yeah, it's more linear. It's less ambitious. It's got less of its own identity. It does have a little bit more of that generic Mario theme syndrome type of thing. Yeah. But that's just kind of the surface level look at it. But once you actually play it, and especially if you do play it multiplayer, it's just a fun game. It's a fun, well-designed game. The levels are really good. Yeah, and it does have its own theme. There's a lot of unique imagery that they kind of do for it.
Some unique stages too. Like you got the circus levels and the Japan themed levels. And got the clear pipes.
No, it's got a lot going for it when you kind of look past the surface level criticisms.
Right.
And it has one of the best Mario soundtracks too. It
does.
And Mario Galaxy is my favorite soundtrack, but this one is the most Mario soundtrack, I feel like.
Right.
When I think of something that fits with the Mario vibe, I think of 3D World. Like, it's
Yeah.
got this kind of more jazzy, like, energetic. It's just a really good game, and have a lot of fondness for it. Since
Right.
I played it on the Wii U.
Nice. Yeah, and it's pretty night and day to try to compare it to a game like Mario Galaxy or even Odyssey, which we'll get to in a second. But it's still just a really fun game. I've replayed it probably like 6 times by now and just had a blast every single time. The one way that I feel like it suffers is so any time that you have a game that has a single player option or a multiplayer option, you always run into the obstacle of one of the two modes suffering, or both in the case of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. Like, you either have to target your levels towards single player or towards multiplayer, and I feel like these levels are a lot more targeted towards multiplayer, so it's just not as fun to play by yourself as compared to 3D
Yeah.
Land. Because,
Yeah,
like,
I
3D
agree.
Land is very condensed as far as the stage design goes, and, like, clearly designed for just one person to be playing, but, like, these levels when you're just playing by themselves can feel kind of a little too open and a little too loosey
Yeah.
goosey a lot of the times. With the
Yeah.
exception of the insane, unhinged, psychotic Champions
Final
Road,
level. Yeah.
which is probably the hardest Mario level of all time.
Yeah, kind of
But
bizarre that ended up in 3D World of all games,
yeah,
but it's kind of cool still.
yeah,
I you say that and I was like trying to think of it myself. I don't know that I've ever actually played this game like by myself. Like
right,
every time I play it, it's like with my family, with my brother, like with my friends. Like
right.
it's just like a perfect multiplayer game.
It really
So
is. Yeah,
I definitely recommend it with multiplayer. Someday I probably should just play it single player just to kind of see like how it would be. But I mean, I think it does strike an okay balance from my experience between
nice.
single player and multiplayer. But yeah, definitely multiplayer's favored. But if
Ooh.
you've got friends, just do it. It's such a fun multiplayer game.
Also, if you get it on the Switch, it comes with this bonus mode called Bowser's Fury that is literally an S tier Mario game in of itself. Like, Bowser's Fury is phenomenal. So, if nothing else, buy it on your Switch just for Bowser's Fury. So,
There you go. Yeah, that's I haven't had a chance to do that since I had it on the Wii U, and I haven't bought it on my Switch yet. Someday I will definitely give Bowser's Fury a shot, but
it's very good.
there's another incentive to get it. It's a really really good game.
Yep. Yeah, so
I'm
I'm
thinking
thinking.
easy A, right?
I
Like,
think so, yeah. That's
yeah,
what came to my
yeah,
mind. A tier for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Cool, cool. Alright, we are on to the final one now. Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, sir. This is a great game. Great game.
Oh
Very
man,
good
it's
game.
good. Yeah, it's. This is the only Mario game ever that has made me question whether or not Super Mario Galaxy is the best Mario game. And, that. It was kind of when it first came out, I was like, I think this is the best one. But, like, new game release hype dies off after a while, and you can kind of consider things more rationally and then decide that it's still not quite as good. But it is just an absolutely phenomenal Mario experience. It takes the idea that Super Mario presented of having these big sandbox levels, these open levels, where instead of, having levels that you complete, you go around collecting the stars, but it's just operating at peak performance because these levels
Yeah.
are ginormous and you're not kicked out of them every time you get a power moon. You can just keep getting these moons, keep going. Then there's even little linear challenge rooms, and then this game somehow miraculously feels great to move around these sandbox levels and to move around in precision platforming. They
Yeah,
somehow
yeah.
finally made it work with both.
Yeah,
It's-
I would say this game, like, yeah, for both 64 and Sunshine, I feel like that was the big struggle, and
Yeah.
I think the movement is perfect in this game. Like, yeah, it just nothing feels better than just moving around in this game, and doing the little platforming challenges feels great. Just running around these big open areas feels great. The story is just as it's simple but but very effective. The locales are just beautiful, and each world is unique and interesting and brings something new to the table. Like, yeah, it's the sandbox. Despite what a lot of contrarians will tell you, I feel definitely that it is Sandbox Mario operating at peak performance for sure.
I think so. Yep. I think it's just kind of a perfect Mario game, honestly. Like, maybe not my favorite Mario game, just because of Mario Galaxy, but it is a pretty perfect game, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to really find complaints about this one.
I know, so. Yeah. I really don't have pretty much any faults with it. I would like a sequel, maybe, please.
Yeah, maybe. We shall see.
But it's looking less likely the more things go on like this. But who knows? It's still possible. But yeah,
S tier.
You think S tier for this one? Yeah,
I think
feel comfortable with that.
Easy S for me. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our list. Cool. We've got it.
You want to do a quick review of the rankings?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Are we going from like lowest to highest?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right. So our only F tier is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. I'm sorry if you guys really like that one. I don't think there are many people who have even played it, so people can't get on our case about it. But we're putting that one in F tier. If I were to have my way, I would put Mario Bros. U in F tier as well, because I have a personal grudge against it. But I do recognize that it's not actually that bad. So we'll move up from there.
Yeah. All right, so then in E tier we have New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Mario Bros. 2.
And we have 2 lower than U in that, as you said.
2 lower than U. All right, and then in our... Geesh, I'm having trouble with my backwards alphabet now.
No, you're good. We're going to C now.
Yeah, or wait, D first, right?
Oh, sorry, D. Yeah, we did have a couple D tier. Oh yeah, we got Super Mario Land for the Game Boy in D, and New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. Those were our only 2 D tiers.
Yeah.
I would say that. What would you say would be better of those 2?
Probably Mario Land, just because it like actually had some sort of like significance as far as like a technological feat. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and then we're moving up to our C tiers.
Yep, Super Mario Bros. For the NES, Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES, Super Mario Sunshine, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and I believe that's it. Wow, so that's...
We don't need to bother ranking all of those particularly, but that seems fair. Those are our C tiers.
Yep.
And then moving on up to B, we have Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Are those our only 2B?
It looks like it.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Those are our only 2B tiers. That's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, just those 2.
Yeah, I'm going to say that 3 is better.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly kind of prefer 2 just because Mario Land 2 just because I've actually beat it, but that's just me. And then we've got our A tiers is Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Super Mario 3D Land, and Super Mario 3D World are our A tiers.
Nice. What's the best one out of the bundle? We'll just go with that.
I like 3D World the best. I know.
Okay.
I know 64 fans will kill me for that, but my personal pick of those ones, I would put 3D World at the top.
Nice. Yeah, I'm probably still going to stick with Mario 64 for my top pick out of that bundle, but yeah, we can just agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, that is fair. And then our S tiers are the 2 Galaxy games, and then Odyssey. And my ranking of those would be Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, and then Odyssey at the bottom.
Yep, same here.
Tier.
That's what I've got too. So
there we go. Now, this is the official definitive tier list of all the Mario games. If you disagree with us, you're wrong. This isn't just our opinion. This is fact, okay?
Yeah, this is fact.
So, yeah. No, but if you do have disagreements, please feel free to send us an email at basicallywizards13@gmail.com and tell us that we're heathens and we don't recognize the genius that is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, so I guess now we gotta do a bonus question.
I've actually thought of one. I was
one?
thinking of
All
one
right.
at the beginning.
Hit it up.
So this will foreshadow our next episode.
Okay.
So what is your favorite type of Pikmin?
Rock.
Okay, that was easy. He'd been thinking about
no
that.
hesitation.
We were on the same wavelength, clearly. I thought of the question in the beginning, and he thought of his answer without even knowing.
Well, it's because today, actually, I was playing some Pikmin 4, and in my mind, not even thinking about the podcast, I was just like, I wonder which one of these guys was my favorite. And I just looked at the rock, and I knew.
You knew it was rock.
Yeah, I had an epiphany at that moment. So
there you go. Yeah, so stay tuned, because our next episode will be our Pikmin 4 discussion. We both got it. I just got it yesterday, so it's going to take me a minute to get through it, but
spoiler alert, it is a good game.
Yeah, that's we can say that, not to be too bold, but pretty fun game so far.
Pretty fun.
And for my answer to the bonus question, I love the winged Pikmin because they are the cutest. And they're also pretty helpful. They're quite helpful in game as well. So
I love how in Pikmin 3 at the end, like during one of the levels, as you're like climbing up to the great oak tree, the little pink ones start like going meow 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 meow, like singing the song. It's really cute. So
I like how they sing a lot in the new one as well. While you're riding around on your dog, they'll start singing sometimes. It's very cute.
They're the best.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. But I think that's all the time we've got today. So we're gonna sign on out.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
Sayonara.